There is a pizza in St. Louis topped with a cheese so processed that the FDA refuses to legally call it cheese, and the entire city is obsessed with it. There is a pizza in Connecticut that comes with no mozzarella unless you beg for it. And there is a pizza in Naples that the United Nations literally declared a protected piece of human culture. Americans eat 3 billion pizzas a year. That is 100 acres of pizza every single day. But most people have only tried 2 or 3 styles, and the ones they have never heard of would blow their minds. We are covering 12 today. The deeper we go, the weirder they get. Style 1, Neapolitan. Nobody wanted pizza. That is how this story starts. In the 1700s in Naples, pizza was the typical food of the poorest workers in the city, and the wealthy thought it was disgusting. Then in 1889, a pizza maker named Raffaele Esposito cooked one for Queen Margherita. Tomatoes, mozzarella, and basil, the Italian flag in food form. She loved it. The most disrespected food in Italy became royalty approved overnight. The recipe has barely changed. San Marzano tomatoes, buffalo mozzarella, olive oil, and dough that ferments 24 hours before hitting a 900-degree wood-fired oven for 60 to 90 seconds. The center comes out thin and soupy. First-timers think it is undercooked. It is not. In 2017, 2 million people signed a petition that got Neapolitan pizza making added to the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization's Intangible Cultural Heritage List. Pizza. Same list as traditional Japanese theater. But when this recipe crossed the Atlantic, what came out on the other side did not look anything like Naples. Style 2, New York style. You do not eat New York pizza, you perform it. Walk up to a glass counter, fold the slice in half, eat it while walking. No plate, no table. Sit down with a New York slice and a local will look at you like you committed a crime. Gennaro Lombardi opened America's first pizzeria on Spring Street in 1905, but New York water, high-gluten flour, and gas deck ovens turned the Neapolitan recipe into a completely different animal. Low-moisture mozzarella gives that golden brown melt, and the cheese pulls everyone's photographs. The grease pooling on top, you blot it or you wear it. The U.S. pizza market hit $50 billion in 2024. A single slice still costs $3 to $5, the last affordable meal in a city where studio apartments run for $3,000 a month. Bring up New York pizza and someone from Chicago is going to have a problem. And what Chicago did to pizza barely even looks like the same food. Style 3, Chicago deep dish. Let's get this out of the way. New Yorkers call it a casserole. Chicagoans call New York pizza a wet napkin with cheese. This war started in 1943 and nobody is surrendering. That is the year Ike Sewell and Rick Ricardo invented deep dish at Pizzeria Uno. The dough lines a deep oiled steel pan like a wall. Cheese goes down first, then toppings. Then chunky tomato sauce on top. Every layer is upside down so the cheese does not burn during a 30 to 45-minute bake. The crust is buttery, almost flaky, more pastry than bread. A full pie can hit 4,000 calories. Try to fold this like a New York slice and you will ruin your shirt and what is left of your dignity. But if you think flipping the layer order is strange, wait until you hear what a bar in Detroit did with spare parts from a car factory. Style 4, Detroit style. The pans came from auto factories, not a joke. In 1946, Buddy's Rendezvous, a bar in Detroit, started baking pizza in blue steel industrial parts from local car plants. The rectangular shape of Detroit pizza exists because of the automobile industry. A decade ago, nobody outside Michigan cared. Now, over a third of American consumers want to try it. High hydration dough rises until it fills every corner of the oiled pan. Cheese goes to the edges, melts down the sides, hits the scorching steel, and fries into a crispy caramelized crust called frico. That frico edge is the single greatest bite in all of Detroit-style pizza. Sauce goes on top after baking in 2 thick racing stripes, Wisconsin brick cheese, not mozzarella. A crunchy bottom, an airy middle, and crispy cheese walls with a bright sauce on top. Everything hits at once after just a single bite. Now we are going from the trendiest pizza in America to one you have already eaten 100 times without ever knowing its name. Style 5, Sicilian. You know that thick, spongy rectangular pizza your school cafeteria served on Fridays? That was Sicilian. And somehow, even the terrible versions were still the best thing on the lunch menu. The original, called sfincione, comes from Palermo in the 1800s. The real Sicilian version uses breadcrumbs, onions, anchovies, and caciocavallo's cheese. Nothing like what Americans know. American Sicilian starts with a thick olive oil-rich dough pressed into a sheet pan, proofed into a pillowy base, then loaded with mozzarella and tomato sauce. The bottom gets golden and crunchy from the oil. And this is the only pizza on the entire list that actually gets better the longer it sits. The flavors settle, and the crust firms up. Bakeries make it at 6 in the morning, sell it by 4 in the afternoon. And that's exactly when it tastes the best. The next style breaks a rule that you probably thought was non-negotiable for pizza. No mozzarella. On purpose. Style 6, New Haven a pizza. Go to New Haven, Connecticut, walk into Frank Pepe's, order a plain pie, and you will get 0 mozzarella on your pizza. Tomato sauce, garlic, pecorino, romano, olive oil. That is it. You want mozzarella? You have to ask for it. It is a topping, not a default. This style is a New Haven classic. Pepe's has been on Worcester Street since 1925, running coal-fired brick ovens over 600 degrees. The crust is thin, charred, blistered, and snaps when you bite through. The most famous order is the white clam pie. Fresh little neck clams, garlic, olive oil, and grated cheese. No tomato sauce. Sounds insane. Lands on Best Pizza in America lists every year. Sally's a Pizza, right down the street since 1938, is Pepe's eternal rival. If that confuses you, this next one is going to make you angry, because St. Louis decided the cheese on their pizza does not even need to be real cheese. Style 7, St. Louis style. The most hated pizza in America by outsiders, the most beloved by the people who grew up on it. There is no middle ground with St. Louis style. The crust is cracker thin, made without yeast, and snaps if you try to bend it. Cut into squares, not triangles. But the real fight is the cheese. St. Louis pizza uses Provel, a processed blend of cheddar, Swiss, and provolone, invented in 1947. The FDA does not classify it as cheese. It is a pasteurized, processed cheese product. Outsiders have compared it to chewing warm plastic. Locals do not care. Emo's Pizza opened in 1964, built nearly 100 locations on that cheese, and owns the distribution rights. Early on, they bought their Provel out of the trunk of some guy's car until their supplier died, and they had to buy the entire grocery store to secure the supply. After all that processed cheese chaos, the next one is going to feel like a warm hug. Style 8, Grandma Pizza. No special equipment, no commercial oven, no rules. Just an Italian grandmother in Long Island, a sheet pan, olive oil, and whatever she had in the kitchen. That is Grandma Pizza. Dough pressed thinner than Sicilian, but thicker than New York, into an oiled pan. Baked low and slow, so the bottom fries into a golden crunch. Sauce goes on top uncooked, just crushed tomatoes with garlic, fresh mozzarella torn by hand. This was home cooking that never existed in a restaurant until the 1990s. Some nonna just kept making it for her family, and the neighborhood found out. It tastes like someone who loves you made it, because that is exactly what happened. Style 9, California style. This is what happens when you hand pizza to people who put avocado on everything, and against all odds, it worked. In the 1980s, a chef named Ed Ledoux started putting smoked salmon, goat cheese, and duck sausage on pizza at Wolfgang Puck's Spago. Alice Waters at Chez Panisse in Berkeley ran similar experiments. Together, they destroyed every rule about what toppings belong on pizza. Toppings like artichoke hearts, barbecue chicken, brie, and arugula. Italian purists were horrified, but California style proved pizza is a platform, not a recipe. We have hit all the big American styles. Now back to Italy, because the way Romans eat pizza on a random Tuesday afternoon would confuse most tourists. Style 10, Roman al taglio. They cut it with scissors. That is the first thing you need to know. Roman al taglio means pizza by the cut. Walk-up bakeries across Rome have long rectangular trays in the window. You point. They grab scissors, cut a piece, weigh it, and hand it to you on paper. Gabriele Bonci perfected the modern version at the Pizzerium near the Vatican in the early 2000s. The dough ferments 48 to 72 hours, producing a crust so light it feels like it weighs nothing. Toppings change multiple times a day. Potatoes and rosemary in the morning, mortadella and pistachio for lunch. Zucchini flowers by afternoon, no plates, no silverware. Just incredible pizza eaten off paper while leaning against a 2,000-year-old wall. Style 11 bar pizza. This is the one that even most pizza obsessives have never tried, a New England secret hiding in plain sight inside dive bars across Massachusetts. It's small, about 10 inches, and it's personal-sized, cooked in a well-seasoned pan absorbing oil for decades. The cheese fries against the pan into a caramelized, almost burnt rim that shatters when you bite it. Thin crust with a slight chew in the center and a deep crunch on the bottom. Spots like Linwood Cafe, Town Spa, and Cape Cod Cafe serve this pie. The same pie for over 50 years, changing nothing. You walk in, order a small cheese and a beer, and understand immediately why nobody here wants the rest of the country to find out. Last one. And this is the one that flips the entire list on its head, because this style is actually older than every single pizza we just talked about. Style 12, pizza fritta. Before there were ovens, there was oil. Pizza fritta is the oldest form of pizza in Naples. Street vendors were frying stuffed dough long before anyone thought to bake it. The dough gets stuffed with ricotta, mozzarella, and pork cracklings called chicolie, sealed shut, and dropped into boiling oil. It puffs into a golden pillow, crispy outside, molten inside. Costs 2 to 3 euros from a street cart in Naples. Sophia Loren played a pizza fritta vendor in a 1954 film, and the scene became so iconic it turned fried pizza into a symbol of the city. The best ones are still sold from street carts, not restaurants. Just a person and a pot of oil, making the same thing people ate before pizza was even called pizza. And if you want the 7 levels of chocolate broken down the same way, that video is on your screen right now.